All right, Rabbosai, good morning. Let us begin. Today's daf is Samech 65. We are picking up on Samech Daled Amud Beis at the two dots, Higia Zmano. So a lot to do today. Our shir this morning is dedicated by Paul and Kathy Pollack in memory of Paul's aunt Esther Bas Zechariah. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah Neshama will have an aliyah in the family in Nechama. And of course, a thank you to our Talmud Torah sponsors for the month of Kislev, Josh and Becca Friedman, Eli Nishmas, Josh's father, Yisrael Yehuda ben Rav Chaim Raphael, and Semi and Malka Esterson, Eli Nishmas, their parents, Yitzchok, Laban, Aaron HaKohen, Sarah Rachel Bas Baruch, and Hinda Bas Henech Ephraim. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, the Neshamas will have an aliyah and the families in Nechama. And also with that, let us begin. So we're picking up again two dots, Samech Daled Amud Beis, 2.64b. That is the third wide line. Higia Zmano. So remember again. So the Mishnah said, Higia Zmano. If a girl is a Nara and she has gotten married. So remember again, the Mishnah says, Beis Shammai says we give her the first night. Beis Hillel says until Motzei Shabbos 4 nights. Remember again, we're talking about situations over here of Dam Besulim. So a woman's getting married, she bleeds as a result of the Bia Rishona. So how long do we attribute the Dam to Dam Besulim versus Dam Niddah? What the Mishnah has introduced us to is it depends on which stage she is in. So if it's a situation where she is a Nara, which we call, so therefore again, it's quite possible that she is ready to become a Niddah. So again, Beis Shammai says we only give her the first night. Any dam she sees on the first night, no matter how many bios, is going to be dam besulim. And Beis Hillel says until Motzei Shabbos, which is 4 nights, assuming that they're getting married on Wednesday nights. It says the Gemara, Itmar Shimsha b'yamim. What happens halacha lamaisa if the woman didn't have relations by night, but she had relations by day? That's Shimsha b'yamim. So Rav Amar lo hifsida leilos. Rav says even if she had relations at night, that does not take away ultimately again. Even if she had relations by day, that does not cause her to lose out on the nights. So in other words, we'll see what that means in just a moment. For Levi Amar hifsida leilos. Levi says no. If she has relations by day, that precludes her from ultimately again. That precludes her from assigning the blood to Dam Besulim at night. So what does this mean? Rav Amar lo hifsida leilos. Rav says she doesn't lose out on nights because at Motzei Shabbos Tanan, the Mishnah says that she has from the night that she got married until Motzei Shabbos. So according to Rav, really what the Mishnah is saying is as follows, or what Beis Hillel is saying is as follows, that halacha l'maisa, from the time she gets married, she has 4 days. Days includes days and nights, in which to go ahead and bleed and assume that blood is dam besulim. So whether she has relations by day, relations by night, that doesn't matter. Well, Levi Amar Levi says if sida leilos. Levi says no. If she has relations by day, then if she has relations at night and bleeds, she is not permitted to go ahead and assign that bleeding to dam besulim. Why? My arba leilos diktani arba onos. So it's actually very interesting. Levi says 4 nights actually means 4 periods of time. So remember again, we saw the concept of an ona is a 12-hour period, either a day 12-hour period, although we'll define this more today, or a nighttime 4-hour period. So Levi says that in fact, what Beis Hillel says is as follows: when a woman gets married, when a nara gets married, she has 4 onos, 4 periods of time between the time she gets married and the first Motzei Shabbos of her married life, in which she has the ability to assign the dam to dam besulim. So any blood she sees, ultimately again will be considered to be dam besulim. But it's only 4 onos, so she has to make a choice. It's either 4 nights or 4 days or some combination of the two. But there's only essentially 4 bios that could occur between the time that she gets married and Motzei Shabbos, where the blood could be assumed to be dam nida. So according to Rav, if that's the case, that it's 4 onos. According to Rab, that it's 4 entire days. So why do you need to say 4 leilos? To which the Gemara says, Orach ara kamash malan dedarka debia baleilos. So Rav is saying that the Mishnah is talking in a normal fashion, that the normal derech is to engage in bia by night. Ula Levi listne arba leilos ad Motzei Shabbos lamali. According to Levi, I understand why you need arba leilos, but why do I ultimately need the statement ad Motzei Shabbos? Hakamash Malan, according to Levi, what that teaches us is the shari lemiva lechatchila b'Shabbos. That one is permitted to go ahead and have bia, even if it's in the initial stages of marriage on Shabbos. Look at Rashi. The shari lemiva b'Shabbos afa pishla ba'al adayin. So what it's saying is as follows: Ki im shtei be'ilosu pascha dachak. So I will say what it's saying is, even though the couple is newly married, and therefore perhaps they've only had very few acts of relations so far, they are still permitted to have relations on Shabbos. What's the reason for this? Kedish Shmuel, the Amar Shmuel, Pirza dechuka mutter likanes ba b'Shabbos. Even if literally, again, the opening is narrow, one is permitted to enter on Shabbos, even though literally you dislodge pebbles in the course of doing so. So it's correct. That's a euphemism, right? The entranceway is narrow is a euphemism for the fact that when the couple is first married, so sometimes the bia often causes bleeding. So both say because, and I would have thought therefore on Shabbos they should not be permitted to have relations because this will cause bleeding. Kamash malan that they are permitted. Itmar. So both say that's our machlokes Rav and Levi. So ultimately, I will say, remember the Gemara seems the Shulchan Aruch already in the Rambam paskins like the Rambam paskins like Levi, paskins like Rav. Excuse me. That according to Beis Hillel, not the Shulchan Aruch, but the Rambam paskins like Rav's interpretation of Beis Hillel that literally again on Motzei Shabbos means 4 complete days. There's no limitations as to the number of bios. There's no day, there's no night. So Lamaisa, again, the permission or the permit of Beis Hillel is until Motzei Shabbos. Good. Itmar, ba'avolo matzadam. What's an interesting case? What happens if a man has relations with his bride and they don't find any dam? Right? There's no dam. No dam from the first act of bia. What happens? V'chazar u'ba'al u'matzadam. And then ultimately, again, he has relations again. And this time there is dam. So we'll say it's an interesting case. There's no dam from the bia rishona, but there is dam from subsequent bios. So what's the halacha? Rabbi Chanina Amar Tmeya, Rabbi Asi Amar Tahora. Rabbi Chanina says that she is Tmeya as a Niddah, and Rabbi Asi says that she is Tahora. Rabbi Chanina Amar Tmeya, Dim Isa da Hava Dam Besula Meikara Hava Asi. So we'll say Rabbi Chanina says that she's going to be Tmeya. Why? Because if this was truly Dam Besulim, then what should have happened? She should have seen Dam from the Bia Rishona. The fact that there was no Dam in the Bia Rishona, right, and only Dam the second time indicates to us this is not Dam Besulim. On the flip side, Rabbi Asi Amar Tahora, Dilma Isrami Lei Kedish Shmuel. Rabbi Asi says, no, it could still be Dam Besulim. So how can you say that it's Dam Besulim the second time if there was no Dam Besulim the first time? To which the Gemara says, because maybe he had relations like Shmuel. What does that mean? Damar Shmuel, Yecholani livel kama be'ilos below dam. Shmuel said, I could have relations a number of times without triggering Dam Besulim. So apparently Shmuel said that apparently there was a way to have relations with ultimately again without, even though the woman was a Besula, without triggering Dam Besulim. However that occurs. So therefore again, the Gemara is saying over here is the fact that there was no Dam the first Bia, but there was Dam second Bia, according to Rabbi Asi, doesn't necessarily could still mean that the second time is Dam Besulim. Why? Because apparently there's this ability to have relations in a way that doesn't go ahead and rupture the Besulim. Okay, V'idach, Shani Shmuel D'Rav Guvrei. And the other opinion will say, whereas Shmuel was capable of doing this, that's because Shmuel ultimately, again, was skilled in this ability, but Lamaisa, most people don't know how to perform this particular act. Okay, so Amarav, Bogeres Nostin Laila Harisham. So we'll say, listen to this interesting case. Now remember again, in the Mishnah's cases, we essentially have category 1 was a tinokes, which is a girl below the age of 12. Category number 2, right? Category number 2 is Higiyaz Manaliros, which is a nara. So we'll say, so now, and category number 3 was a nara who had already become a nida while still in her father's home. Now the Gemara introduces a new discussion. What happens if you have an adult woman, right? Bogeres, Bogeres. So this is an adult woman, again, who's getting married now, which means Rabbi say once she is a Bogeres, then halacha l'maisa, we know that she has become a Niddah. So right, so remember again, all the cases of the Mishnah, either she's too young, she's never become a Niddah, she reached the age, but we're not sure if she ever became a Niddah, or she reached the age of Naros and has become a Niddah, but is not yet a Bogeres. In this case now, Bogeres, right? So Bogeres is getting married. So what's her status? Nosnin la layla rishon. For Bogeres, we'll say what we say is as follows: any dam she sees on the wedding night, we assume ultimately again is dam besulim, but that's all we give her, quote unquote. Meaning that's all we assume is dam besulim. Any other subsequent dam is going to be treated as dam nida. V'hani mili shelo rasa, and I will say that's only assuming that she has never actively become a nida. Aval rasa ila ela be'ilas mitzvah v'sulo. But I will say if it's a bogeres who has already become a nida, then what? All we give her is the bia rishona, and that's it. Right? So I'll say again, when I say all we give her is the bia rishona, again, you understand what I mean. Right? That means is all we do, the only time we could assume that it's dam besulim is by the bia rishona, and that's it. So the Gemara says, Meisve, is that true? Ma'isa v'nasala Rabbi arba leilos mitoch yud beis chodesh. There was an episode, and we'll have to define exactly what this means. We'll have to define what this means, right? But one time, Rebbe gave a Bogeres who got married 4 nights over the span of 12 months. So look at Rashi. Mitoch shnei masar chodesh, shaba'a layla harishon, v'halach b'derech miyad, v'shah shalosh chadashim, v'chazar ubalu matzadam, v'chein pam shnio shlishis, ubalef Rebbe v'amar dam musulim. So apparently the way Rashi understands this case initially, although we're going to redefine it in just a little bit, is as follows: that a man got married to a woman, she was a Bogeres, right? And ultimately, again, they had relations, she saw dam. So he went away for 3 months, came back 3 months later, relations, had dam. And this happened 4 times over the course of a year. Rebbe attributed each of those episodes of dam to dam besulim. Okay, to which the Gemara says, what's the case? If you want to say that Lamaisa again, she was a ketana when all of this happened, so the Gemara says, top of Samechei, remember again, when it comes to a ketana, Rabosai, what did Beis Hillel say? Beis Hillel says that we could attribute the dam to dam besulim as long as what? The wound, so to speak, whereas the besulim have not healed. So rather, it doesn't make sense to say that it's said while she's a ketana. So we're trying to figure out what type of woman was Rebbe dealing with in this type of situation. So rather, it must be that what? Rather, it must be. It must be that halacha l'maisa, he went ahead and this was happening during the days of Naros. That can't be. Naros yud beis chodesh mi'ika. So we'll say, remember again, does Naros span for 12 months? Remember again, the case of here that we're dealing with is that Rebbe, there was a couple that got married. Apparently, it sounds like had relations 4 times over the course of a year. The woman bled as a result of relations each time, and Rebbe attributed that to dam besulim. So what's the case? So the Gemara says, if she's a ketana, can't be ketana because the Mishnah already said by ketana, we attribute the dam to dam besulim until the wound heals. If it's a nara, naros doesn't span 12 months. Doesn't, right? Because what does the Gemara say? Rabbi Shmuel ein bein naros lebagros elavav chadashim bilvat. After all, Shmuel said that the span of time between naros and bagros is only how long? 6 months, right? So naros is only 6 months long. So maybe you'll say maybe naros is a minimum of 6 months, but what? It could certainly be even longer. So the Gemara says ha bilvad kamar. That can't be true. Because what does it say? It says, Bilvad, Ella, diyohev le shtayim b'mei katnos, ushtayim b'mei naros. Rather, I will say, what must be the case? The case must be where he gave them 4 times, four bios. 2 of them happened while she was a ketana, and 2 of them happened while she was a nara. Okay, so we'll say, so that would be how ultimately, again, you'd have 4 times over the course of 1 year. Fine. Rav Chinina bar Shami Amirav Hegia zmana liros tachas bayla mahu. So Rabbi says, listen to this. But on the other hand, Rav Chinna Bar Shalmi asked the following of Rav. What happens if halacha lamaisa? So listen to this next shiloh. What happens if halacha lamaisa? Hegia zmana liros tachas bayla. So Rabbi says, so he marries her, and again, if you take a look, no, not yet. Let's say Rabbi say she becomes a nara while she's married, right? So they get married as a ketana. Ultimately, again, it's higiyaz maralir. She becomes a nara while they are already married. So what's talacha? Amralei kol bi'ilos sha'ata boel einon ela achos v'ashar mashlimin ledalid leilos. So also listen to this. So also I see here in this case over here, he marries her ultimately again while she's a ketana, but ultimately again then obviously she turns into a nara. So what's the status regarding dam besulim in this case? To which the Gemara says, kol bilo shata boel. All the acts of relations that he has with her before she is a nara, einon ela achas, are all considered to be one. Vashar mashlim ledala leilos, and then again he has 3 more times after she becomes a nara, in which he could attribute the bleeding to dam besulim. So what it sounds like over that's happening is all the acts of relations that he has with her while she is a ketana, ultimately again all count as 1 act of relations, which then leaves him 3 more when she becomes a nara, that if she bleeds they could attribute that to dam besulim. So therefore, going back, we have to reframe the case. So therefore, what's the case? Remember, we're trying to figure out Rav's case of 4 bios over 12 months. Right? Rather, it must be what was the case? That ultimately, again, so the way it worked out is there was 1 act of relations that took place when she was a ketana, 2 acts of relations that took place when she was a nara, and therefore the final act, 1 act of relations that took place when she was a bogeres. That would be the 4 over the span of 1 year. So we'll say, if you want to say this makes sense, if you say in general that a bogeres is given more than 1 time, just like ultimately again, katnos, when she's a ketana, so that counts as 1 time legabe her narus. So to narus will count legabe her bagrus. To which the Gemara says, "Ela I amrit bogeres da alma lo yahavina latfei." But I will say, if ultimately again we say that a bogeres in general is not assigned multiple days, then lo leisiv la ela bi'ilas mitzvah v'sulo. And I will say a bogeres should only have bi'ilas mitzvah, which means again the only time we can say that the dam is dam b'sulim is when is halacha lamaisa for bi'ilas mitzvah and no more. To which the Gemara says, the olam diyav le achas b'mei katnos, the gimel b'mei naros. So also rather, what's the case? The case is with halacha lamaisa. There was 1 act of bia when she was a ketana, 3 acts of bia during her yemei naros. That's the 4. Mi savris kol tlasa yarche. Sorry, mi savri kol tlasa yarche chadaona. So we'll say. So remember again. Will you say that every 3 months is considered to be 1 ona? No, kol trei yarche chadaona. To which the Gemara says, Rabbi say that ultimately again it's also possible that every 2 months ultimately again counted as an ona as well. Okay. To which the Gemara says, so what the Gemara is just pointing out over here is that halacha lamaisa, how it's setting up. So remember again, this which all of this just trying to figure out how Rebbe had arba leilos mitoch yud beis chodesh. So instead of going ahead and saying that lamaisa was once every 3 months, ultimately again it's called trei yarchi chada onahu. It could also be spanning over the course of every 2 months, and therefore you'd be having ultimately again 1 act of bia during her katnos, and ultimately again 3 acts of bios ultimately again during her yemei naros. Good. Next, Minyamin Saskano. Rabbi Yonan Saksana Hava Shakil va'azala Asrei de Shmuel. So this man Minyamin was going to the city of Shmuel. Savrlemi Avet Uvda Kavase de Rav. So he was going to go ahead and paskin like Rav. Afilu Ra'asa. So remember again. So Rav says as follows. Remember, this was the statement of Rav on the end of Samach Daled days. Rav says that if you have a bogeres nosnin la laila rishon. So Rav says if a woman is a bogeres and she gets married, we give her Laila Rishon. What does that mean? Any dam she sees on the first night of her marriage, ultimately again is attributable to dam besulim. Now Rav sounds like what he's saying is what? Even if there are multiple bios that night, all of it is dam besulim. The Rav then goes on to qualify his own statement. When is that true? That's true if she has never become a Niddah. But if she has become a Niddah, then what do we give her? What do we give her? Bias mitzvah, the first bia, and that's all. And that's all, right? So the first bia you could attribute the dam ultimately to dam besulim, but any other bios, even on that same night, will ultimately again have to become dam nida. So this individual Minyamin went to the city of Shmuel, and he was going to paskin, he was going to espouse the halacha like Rav, afilu rasa. But I will say he was going to apply the statement of Rav even to a case where the Bogeres had previously become a Niddah. And he was going to say that Rav holds that in a case even where she previously becomes a Niddah, all of the bios of that night are attributable to dam besulim. And I will say that's not what Rav said. Right? So Minyamin was corrupting the statement of Rav. So what happened? So the Gemara said, Amar lo palig Rav ben rasa ben lo rasa. Says Guy Minyamin said Rav never made a distinction between rasa and lo rasa. Kadim shachiv ba'orcha. So apparently, as Minyamin was going out to teach this statement of Rav, what happened? He died on the road. He died on the road. Kari Shmuel alei de Rav. So Shmuel said about Rav, lo yeuna letzadik kalavan. So he quoted over here the pasuk from Mishlei that nothing bad will happen to the tzaddik. So the idea that Shmuel felt that there was a level of divine intervention. Here someone was trying to corrupt the statement of Rav, and apparently HaKadosh Baruch Hu intervened by causing this individual Minyamin to die on the road before he was able to convey the corrupted version of Rav's statement. Pretty dramatic. Amrav Chinina Bar Shamia Mishmei de Rav. So we'll say another statement of Rav. Rav Chinina saying there, Kevan Shenasku Shinav Shal Adam Nisma'atu Mizonosav. What's an interesting statement. Once a person's teeth falls out, his mizonos, his ability to eat, ultimately again is diminished. So we'll say, what does this say? What is this a metaphor for? So the Gemara says, Shne'emar gam anochi nesati lachani kayon shinayim b'chol arechem v'choser lechem b'chol mekomosechem. It goes where the pasuk from Amos, that literally again, I have given you, right, nasati lechem nikayon shinayim, right, literally I've given you ultimately again a lack of teeth, and as a result, choser lechem, you are without bread. So I'll say the metaphor is as follows. The lack of teeth is a reference to old age. Once a person gets a bit older, then he has less bread. What does that mean? That lemaisa again, the older you get, the harder it is to work, and the harder it is to work, the less money you have. Which I will say, of course, is a very profound metaphor in general. That what you get out of life what you're willing to put in. The harder you work, the more you get. Lav dafka, just like in a parnasa dika. It's true in parnasa also, but the mice it's true in life, right? Right. If you allow your teeth to fall out and you don't put in effort, then halacha lamaisa don't expect to reap rewards. Ra sava oda. So we'll say next case in the Mishnah. So remember, the next case in the Mishnah is Ra sava oda b'veis aviha. So we'll say this is the case of the Nara, who ultimately again became a Niddah in her father's home and then gets married. So she has already become a Niddah before she's gotten married. Now she gets married. So what does Beis Shammai say? Beis Shammai says we give her bi'ilas mitzvah. She could only attribute dam to dam besulim for the first act of bia, and Beis Hillel says kol alayla kula. We give her the entire wedding night. So even if there's more than one bia on the wedding night, lamaisa again, and there's dam, we attribute all of that dam to dam nida. Tan Rabbanon. So the Gemara says over here, if she goes ahead and she sees dam, and she is still in her father's home. So remember again, this is the case of the Nara. She becomes a Niddah in her father's home. Now she gets married, right? So machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai saying she gets to be a Rishona for dam besulim. Beis Hillel says the entire first night. So Tan Rabbanon Ra Sava Oda Beis Aviha. Beis Hillel Omrim Kol Alayla Shela V'Nosnin La Ona Shalema. So Beis Hillel says we give her the entire night. In other words, again, this is the Naro has become a Niddah already in her father's home. Now she gets married. So Beis Hillel says we give her the entire night and Ona Shalema, a complete Ona. right? A complete ona. The kama ona shalema. How much is an ona shalema? Pirish Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, laila v'chatzi yom. It really means a night and a half a day. So Rabbi says, so something Basil is saying is she gets that night, the wedding night, and that next half a day, whatever. We'll see what that means. Omi ba'ina and kulehai. So Rabbi says, so again, do we require such a long time? In other words, are we assuming that it takes so long for the makkah to heal, right? For the basulim to heal, that we have to give her the night and a half a day? Or mini harish hayugitav ubeis badav tameos. So what says, Gemara brings a raya from a different case. Let's say a person, his gat or his beis habad, right? His olive press or his wine press become tameh. Ubikesh lasosan betara, and now he wants to go ahead and be mitarit. He wants to produce product inside of it in a state of tara. So how is he mitar his press? Keitzaruosa. So what could he do? Hadapin v'halulavin v'ha'adashin. So what say? So the dapin Rashi says, literally deles. Shnos nagavinos. Supposed to say they call this the door. So this was the actual press. Remember again, you'd have a mound of grapes, and you'd press down on the mound of grapes to go ahead and extract the liquid. That's called the daf, a board. That board is put on top of the grapes, pressure is applied to the board, and the liquid comes out. That's and lulavin, Rabosai. Rashi says, Hanu chufya, shemenakim esagat. These are brooms that are made out of palm branches. Brooms that are made of palm branches that are used to clean out the press. Right? And adoshin, Rashi says, hiagat atzma. That is the actual press itself. So when it comes to going and being matayr these things, so what's the halacha? Madichin, amud beis. Madichin, so we go ahead and we clean it. Madichin means literally we rinse it off. So all you need to do for these items is rinse them off. Next, ha'akalim shel nitzarim v'shel bitzbutz. So we'll say the netting. Rashi says over here, ha'akalim yesh makom shekoshen es hatafuach shel chartzonim ba'akalim sabiv. So we'll say sometimes what they would do is they would put some type of netting over the grapes or over the olives. Why would they do this? So that the grapes or the olives should not scatter everywhere. So the netting, whether the netting is made out of wicker or hemp, minagvan, you go ahead and you dry it off. Shal shifa for shal gemi, but if the netting is made of shifa and gemi, these are other materials, miyashnon, ultimately again you have to let them sit for a while. The kama miyashnon, how long do you have to let them sit for? Yud beis chodesh, for a period of 12 months. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, manichin migat legat umibad lebad. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, no, you have to let them sit. You have to let them sit ultimately again to the next wine pressing or to the next olive pressing. Hainu Tanakama. Shabbos say, isn't it a year in between pressings? So isn't Rabbi Shimon Gamliel saying the same thing as the Tanakama? Ika benadi is an afkamina, charfi va'afli. So I'll say there is an afkamina. The nafkamina is that sometimes the seasons do change a little bit from year to year. Charfi va'afli means earlier and later. Sometimes there's less than exactly a year in between acts of pressing. Rabbi Yossi says, ha'arotza litar miyad. If somebody wants to purify their press immediately, what's the halacha? Magilan beroschin. You could go ahead and pour boiling water over it, or immerse it in boiling water. O choltan bimei zeisim. Or you could scald it with olive water. So we'll say, so the olive water was, they used to pour hot water over the olives in order to go ahead and soften the olives so as to be able to extract the oil. Either way, what it's saying over here is if you want to kasher the press and the utensils immediately, boiling water. Rabbi Shmuel Silber, manichin tachas hatzinor shemeimav mekalchin. Rabbi Yossi says you could place it underneath the faucet or the spigot whose liquids are flowing, or b'ma'ayon shemeimav rodfin, or in a spring whose waters are flowing. V'kama ona, and I will say, how long is the ona that you just mentioned? So the Gemara says, v'kama, how long do you have to leave it there for? Ona, u'kederach she'amru b'yayin esech, kach amru b'tarus. And the same way that they espoused halacha b'yayin esech, so too they said b'tarus. So what does that mean? Klapi laya, b'tarus kaminon. What do you mean? So we're talking about tarus. Now tarus is the subject over here. Ella, kederach she'amru b'tarus, the same way we talk about over here, purifying for tarus purposes. Kach amru b'yayin esech. Same way they said to purify for yayin esech as well. V'kama ona. So we'll say, so now you told me that this has to be done for an ona. How long is an ona? O yom, o laila. They both say an ona is either the period of a day or the period of a night. So remember again, this is what we said actually in yesterday's daf. We already a couple of times that the definition of an ona is a day period or a nighttime period. Rav Chana Shona, v'amrei Rav Chana bar Shona, amar bar Chana and B'Yochanan, chatzi yom v'chatzi layla. No. An ona actually is a half a day and a half a night. V'amrei Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak v'lo pligi. They're actually not arguing. Ha b'tekufas Nisan v'Tishrei, ha b'tekufas Teves v'Tammuz. So this is actually very interesting. So the Gemara says as follows: everyone agrees that the definition of an ona is a 12-hour period. Just they phrase it differently at different times. So some call an ona 1 day and 1 night. Others call an ona a half a day and a half a night. Why that different discussion? To which the Gemara says it depends on the time of year. Look at Rashi. B'tekufas Nisan v'Tishrei, shayom v'layla shavim o yom o layla. Suppose I say, for example, in Nisan and Tishrei, so which is really like spring and summertime, so the days and nights are often equal time. They're both 12 hours. Now remember, I was saying, the truth is, technically speaking, ad shows manios, so really everything's always kind of 12 hours. But the idea being at certain times of year, the span of the day and the night are the same. So by summer, by winter, by summer, by spring, really Tishrei is end of summer, Nisan is beginning of spring, so the days and nights kind of equal out. That's when we say an ona is a day or a night. On the flip side, b'tekufas Tammuz v'Teves, also remember again, Tammuz is summertime, Teves is wintertime. She'inam shavim chatz yom v'chatz to have a ona shlem shebeshos. So we'll say in the summertime or in the wintertime, where the days and nights are not exactly equal, so the way we define an ona is a half a day and a half a night together. I will say, but again, that's just really to a certain degree semantics and the way that they explained it. But lamaisa, an ona means what? A 12-hour period. A 12-hour period. To which the Gemara says, Hachanami, Ema gabe Niddah, Chatzi yom v'chatzi layla. So too, Rabbi say when it comes to Niddah, say that halacha l'maisa we give her an ona, and what's the ona? A half a day and a half a night. But that's not what the Gemara said. V'ha layla v'chatzi yom kamar. But that's not supposed to. Remember again, this is all going back to the statement we saw. Where the Brisa said, Ra'asa va'odu beis aviyah, if you have a girl who is a Nara, who became a Niddah in her father's home, and then she gets married, so Beis Hillel says in this Brisa, we give her kol halayla, v'kol halayla v'nosna ona shalema. We give her the entire night and a complete ona. Remember again, so I just want to point out, Beis Hillel in the Mishnah said that Allah Chalamayis, we give her the entire night. We give her the night. So any bios she has on the wedding night, and there's dam from that, we attribute that dam to dam Niddah. In the Brisa, Beis Hillel is saying we give her the night. What did I say? Okay, good. You understand what I mean? Good. We'll say don't interrupt the flow. We gotta go. Hey, so we'll say so again. If you understand it, just keep going. Hey, so we'll say so again. So Beis Hillel, and the Brisa, Beis Hillel says that halacha l'maisa we give her the night. We give her the night, the Laila, and ona shalema. And an entire ona. What we've just defined is what's an ona. What's an ona? An ona ultimately again is 12 hours. So which one is this? What's going on over here? So the Gemara now is saying as follows, back to my days. So the Gemara says, if it's Nisan or Tishrei, so we'll define it as a Laila. If ultimately again it's Chatziyom, Chatzilayla, that'll be Tevis. To which the Gemara essentially says, we'll say the Gemara is just giving you two different ways to say the same thing depending on the time of the year. But Lamaisa, what are we giving her for Dam Besulim? Ultimately, again, we're giving her one ona. The other possibility is Vibai Sema, Shainik Suva, Demagbi Batfe Adechastri. We'll say this is actually very interesting. We'll say, or it's possible that the reason why Hillel said we give her the night, right? We give her the Laila, and what? Va'ona Shalema is very interesting. Sometimes at a chasina, doing the ksuva takes a very long time. So it's actually quite fascinating. Look at Rashi for just a moment over here. Rashi says, Shiny ksuva de magi batvei, yesh ikuv badavar ledaktek bakol ulechosma, hilchach ba'ina layla shlema v'chatziyom. So I'll say, listen to this. Sometimes doing the ksuva takes so long that what happens? the chasana goes late. So say, here's what's fascinating about this. So apparently, for time immemorial, chasanas never run on time. Never run on time. So apparently, today it's the photographer or whatever, whoever it is. So apparently, again, Bismana Gemara, who was it? It was the Mesader Kiddushin with the Ksuva. So right. So you have to understand something. So it's so different for us today, right? What do you do when you want a Ksuva? What do you do when you want a Ksuva? I mean, it's ksuva.com, right? I'm sure there's such a thing like that, right? Ksuva.com or whatever else it is. You go to Shopsies and you pick up the ksuva and you're good to go. So we'll say, so again, the Gemara says, sometimes it happened that over the course of the chasana, the writing of the ksuva took so much time, so that it could be that the wedding wouldn't finish until very, very late, maybe even into the wee hours of the morning. So the Maisa, what they would do is they would give the chassan and kala the next day as well. So in other words, so that when Beis Hillel says over here that we give her a laila and ona shalema, what it's saying is we give her the night and the following day for dam besulim, because sometimes the bia rishona wouldn't happen until when? Really until the next day. But the idea really is the same. Beis Hillel actually in the Braisa is not saying something different than Beis Hillel in the Mishnah, which is ultimately, again, we're giving her an ona. We're giving her an ona. So two possibilities as to why the Braisa here says that we're giving her a laila and an ona shalema. Either it's just a different way of saying the same thing based on the times of the year, or literally what it's saying is that sometimes the chasana would go so late that Lamaisa, again, the Bia Rishona wouldn't happen until the daytime, and therefore we would give her the day, that ona, ultimately for Dam Besulim. Pretty incredible. Rav Shmuel says, so now the Gemara takes a dramatic turn from this entire discussion. Rav Shmuel Vayu halacha. What is the halacha? Boel be'ilas mitzvah uporesh. So I will say the halacha is that in general we allow the couple to engage in the bias mitzvah, and what? Then the couple must separate. Look at Rashi just a moment. Halacha bo bilas mitzvah bein higiyazmana bein lo higiyazmana. So we'll say Rabbi Shmuel come along and say this entire discussion we've had up until this point is no longer relevant. How do we paskin halacha lamaisa? The way we paskin is couple is together for bia rishona. There's dam besulim. We're going to see. We actually assume that there's dam besulim, even if a woman doesn't see dam, right? As long as she is a besula, we assume that there is dam besulim. So therefore, I will say again, sa'alacha lamaisa, they have the bia rishona, and then they must separate. So we'll say, so again, there's no laila rishona, there's no dalid leilos. As soon as she bleeds as a result of bia rishona, they must separate afterwards. Maser Rav Chisda, so Rav Chisda raises a kasha. My savinas nala Rabbi dalid leilos mitoch yud beis chodesh. So we'll say, so the Gemara now brings up the case that we had on literally again the last line of Samech Daled Amud Beis. What about the case of the couple that got married and Rebbe gave them 4 nights, or 4 bios over the course of 12 months where she bled, and Rebbe attributed that to Dam Besulim? Amali Rava, Haduri Ifricha Lamali, Osimi Masnisin. So first of all, Rava said, listen, if you're going to bring a kasha, you don't have to run around and find the story. You could bring a kasha from the Mishnah. Right? Because the Mishnah doesn't say that, right? The Mishnah says that Allah Chamaisa, depending on her stage, she has a longer period of time in which she could attribute that to Dam Besulim. Who savar ma'iserav. So we'll say, so he assumed that it's better to bring a story, right? Stories sometimes are more powerful than statements. Why? Because again, stories show stories show people acting on facts. Right? Statements are statements, but stories show that ultimately, again, this information was actually implemented halacha l'maisa. So the Rav Shmuel, the Gemara says, Mikol Makom, the Rav Shmuel Kasha. So I'll say either way, according to Rav Shmuel's statement, is problematic. It goes against the Mishnah and it goes against the Maisa. Inhu David Krabosenu. So the truth is, Rav and Shmuel paskin like the rabbis. Disanya, Rabosenu Chazru v'Nimnu. After analyzing this entire discussion, the rabbis came back and they decided Boel bi'ilas mitzvah uporesh. That ultimately, we'll say the way it works with Dam Besulim is that Allah Chalamayisa couples together the first time, woman bleeds as a result of the Bia Rishona, and then what? They separate. They will say, which essentially means she conducts herself as a Niddah after Bia Rishona. Amar Ula, ki havu bar Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, bitinokes, lo havu maskiminei, so let's listen to this. When Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish would learn Perek Tinokes, which Rabbi says is the Perek that we're in Niddah, when they would learn this Perek of Niddah, so we'll say, first I'll think about this in just a moment. Hear what the Gemara is saying. We're learning the same Perek as Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. we're learning the same parak. Now, obviously, it was a little bit different because Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish were not on these pages when they were learning it. But I will say, how incredible is it to see the eternality of our Torah Kedosha? We are literally learning the same sugyas as Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. It's incredible. And Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish will learn this parak of Mishnayos. Lo hava maskimine ella kidemasik talim veikar. So listen to this. They were only able to draw out from it that which a fox draws out from a plowed field. So apparently once upon a time this metaphor meant a lot more than it means to us. But apparently again, a fox, when it tries to get right food from a plowed field, is very unsuccessful. I guess there's not a lot of animals, things that live in a life. You look at Rashi, so apparently again, there's not a lot for a fox to eat in a plowed field. So just like the fox doesn't get all that much out of a plowed field, whenever Rabbi Yochanan or Rish Lakish would do this sugya, they wouldn't really emerge with too many conclusions. And therefore again, based on that they would say that what? So Musai Mehachi Boel Be'ilas Mitzvah Uporish. The Rabbi say Halacha L'maisa, they would end up the sugya by saying the way we pass the Rabbi say, because there is so much dispute regarding what to do with Dam Besulim. Therefore Halacha L'maisa, after the couple is together the first time and she bleeds, we treat her like a Niddah, and therefore a couple separates after Bia Rishona. So what is very interesting. Amrali Rabbi Abdul Ravashi. So Rabbi said to Ravashi, well, based on that Elamiata, Bal Nefesh lo Yigmar Bia. So if that's the case, maybe we should say as follows. Bia Rishon Rabbosai is accomplished by Tchilas Bia. Right? Tchilas Bia means when there's some level of penetration. That's Bia Rishona. So maybe we should say that Bia Rishona should take place. The Chassan should begin the Bia, but he shouldn't finish. Right? Maybe, in other words, if we're so concerned, Dam Besulim, Dam Niddah, all these different things, why don't we say, let him begin the Bia, right? Don't finish the Bia, and that's Bia Rishona. To which the Gemara says, no, you can't do that. Amarlei, Im Kein Liba Nokfo Uporish. So we'll say, first of all, if you're going to do that, so first of all, besides the fact that it would create just a certain level of anxiety. Liba nokfa means, I will say, if that's going to tell the chassan, you could begin the bia, but you can't end the bia because you're not sure what to do with dam besulim. So let me say again, such a situation is not exactly going to work out on a variety of levels. So we'll stop over here. But Allah Lamaisa, the Gemara ends off with this particular conclusion that ultimately, again, by dam besulim, ultimately we allow the couple to be together the first time. Then again, any dam that occurs causes them to separate as if it is a state of Niddah, and they separate again after the Bia Rishona. Just so you know, Allah Lamaisa, we assume that there is dam besulim in any case of a Bia Rishona where the woman is a besula. If she is a besula, we assume that there was dam besulim there, literally, even if they don't see dam besulim. Of course, the exception to this rule, of course, is if a woman is not a besula, or even if a woman technically is a besula, but meaning she never had relations before, but the hymen, the basulim is not that. Sometimes, again, a woman could have a condition where the membrane is too thick, and therefore it has to be medically removed, or otherwise, again, bia becomes impossible. In a situation like that, where we know there's no basulim, there's no intact basulim, said enachinami, there will be no dam basulim. But in a regular case where the basulim are there, if she sees dam, essentially, again, after the bia rishona, she's treated as a niddah and they separate. But even if she doesn't see dam, we assume that ultimately, again, halacha l'maisa, there was dam there, and couple separates after bia rishona as if she is a niddah.